Hi guys. When you dive deep into the core of human evolutionary psychology like I do, you start to uncover some very uncomfortable truths that are hard to ignore. At the most fundamental level, female love is utilitarian, rooted in the cold hard truth about survival. When you strip human relationships down to their biological essence, women prioritize their own well-being and that of their children, often above the man, unless he remains a crucial factor for their survival. Now, this isn't a very comfortable thought, but it's a reality that's grounded in our evolutionary past. There's a reason why men have been labeled the disposable sex. Throughout history, in the brutal calculus of survival and warfare, men were the expendable frontliners. If the fighting age men of a tribe were lost in battle, the surviving women and children's best chance at survival was to integrate with the victors, even marrying the men who defeated their own. This stark reality underpins a ruthless realism where behaviors driven by survival needs take precedence over everything else. The process of pair bonding triggered by sex feels like love, intimacy, and commitment, but at its core, the purpose of these emotions is purely utilitarian as well, to keep the man invested, especially during the vulnerable months of pregnancy, and the subsequent need for the protection and resources for the offspring. A man's role, while crucial for fertilization, is biologically seen as more replaceable. From a reproductive standpoint, once fertilization occurs, the man's direct biological involvement in the process is complete. This perspective gains further depth with the parental investment theory by evolutionary psychologist Robert Trivers in 1972. It highlights the significant investment and risk taken by females during reproduction, that risk being her very own life, and how it leads to inherently different reproductive strategies between men and women. This imbalance not only shapes how a woman views her relationship with her offspring over the man, but also dictates the relationship dynamics where a man's value is closely tied to his utility. This instinct and behavior, selected over thousands and thousands of years of evolution, manifests every single chance it gets. Men who no longer offer value to a woman or instead becomes a liability to her very quickly realize that they cannot be loved or cared for unconditionally. And I don't say this to put women down. I want to be very clear here. It's just the stark reality of our relationship dynamics. Even on a societal level, it's the men who live on the dangerous outskirts. From the wild nature to an unforgiving battlefield, men are the shields that protect the women and children, and a shield is only good as long as it works, apart from being easy to replace. As we start to view relationships in the context of their evolutionary and biological foundations, our emotional and societal understanding of concepts like love, romance, and commitment begin to look real fragile. Looking past the surface, you realize the utilitarian nature of female love and the replaceable aspect of a man's role in reproduction. Everything I've just described comes from the deepest understanding of psychology. Recognizing these dynamics doesn't diminish the complexity of our relationships, but it instead adds a layer of realism to how we interpret our interactions. Understanding this can help you navigate your dating life with a clearer perspective on the dynamics that are at play. So with that being said, until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.